Hello guys, my name is Good News, aka Mommy V. I am a relationship coach. I deal with marriage that need maintenance. I deal with singles that are about to go into dating. I also deal with singles that are already dating. At the same time, marriage that need maintenance. So anything about marriage or your relationship, then you can contact me. Today, what do I have for you? How can you deal with your career after marriage? It is something you would have discussed with your husband before marriage. However, if you did not discuss it, how can you manage it now that you're married? Yes, career. When I talk about career and marriage, obviously it's about women. You know why? Because men don't leave their career for marriage. They have to maintain their career to maintain their marriage. But for women, at some point, there may be need for us to leave our career. And sometimes, if we don't want to leave our career, what are the things we need to do? In this video, I'll be talking about 3 major things that is needed in marriage. Then you have to weigh it with your career if it is something you can actually balance. The first thing, you can't talk less about time. Your career needs time and your relationship needs time. So how can you make sure that both of them are not suffering? Then number 2, your sexual communication. When you are tired, the working class lady can bear me witness on this. When you are tired, you may not even want any man to touch you because you are tired. Yes, it is justifiable. But how can you balance this with your marriage, your sexual communication? And another thing I'll talk about is being supportive. It's your spouse or your husband supporting the career you are doing now, because it can mean happy home if there is support from your husband. You have to get it. If not, the house may not be sweet to stay. And that's why I will start by talking on time. Time. You cannot underestimate time when it comes to career. You cannot underestimate time when it comes to family. And yet, we have so many things that are ready to take away our time. The first that we cannot go without talking about is traffic in the cities. Most people working in Lagos can bear me witness on this. If you're in Lagos, you can leave your office by 5 and bet you get to your house by 9 o'clock. And this will be putting some stress on your marriage. So how can you deal with that? Can you think about quitting your job now? But before you quit, what's your plan? Do you have any plan on the job you will do when you get married? Or possibly you are fine now that you are just married. It's just like 2 singles living together. Your husband go to work, you go to work, then you come back at night. It may be very fine. But what of if you give birth? It is not the same thing at all. And that is why you need that planning now. And what about you that they married you from somewhere else and had to relocate you to another place? Eventually this time, your job have to be out of it. Which means you have to look for other means to get money. And that's why your career, it's important to talk about. So, how will you now use your time wisely? If you are working, did you discuss with your husband your time? And is he understanding with you? If you are the one that work late, did he agree? Because you see, this career, most women don't want to talk about it. But I will use my personal experience on this. I was a 8 to 5 career lady when I got married. Initially, my husband doesn't have issue with this. In fact, he never complained about it. But I know he was not comfortable with it. You ask me how? Because at some point, when I get home late, the reactions, and sometimes you just see that we don't even talk at some point the whole day. And it will be like one answer statement, like, how are you today? I'm fine. Have you taken something? Yes. how is work? Fine. That shows that, oh, maybe this man does not like what I'm doing, or not that he does not like what I'm doing, maybe the time he can't just stand it. But one thing, I didn't realize it until I stopped working 8 to 5. And I realized that 6 months, 1 year, we may not even have any arguments. And I now go back and think about it, that it was because the time I'm coming is too late, that sometimes I don't give attention to my husband, and that is what is actually causing that arguments. And sometimes we don't know that's the root cause, and that's why I want to share this with my fellow women. Not only myself, I can relate and relate and relate. We have many, and in fact, did you see social medias? You have to choose one before your career, between your career and your family. So if you are encouraged in your career, what about your family? Which one do you take as important one? Obviously, your family should stand as the most important. It's arranged this way. I don't know if it has changed now, but it has always been arranged: God, family, and work. So don't place your work above your family. So the time, you have to consider it. Can you take up a part-time job instead of the full-time that take all your time? Can you possibly look for a job close to where you stay so that you can maintain your home? Then your sexual communication. My sister, if you are a career lady, I remember those days at home at night when I'm already tired. I don't even want my husband to come close. In fact, I was tired sleeping anyway. So if my husband come close at that time, I may not even feel it that much. Like, oh, the feelings like, when you just finish, let me sleep. Because you have to go tomorrow to that same traffic, and you have to leave home as early as possibly 5, 6. Now tell me, how do you expect your body to calm for your husband to communicate with you sexually? And we complain sometimes that our husband is going after side chicks. Do you know what they used to take them? They give them time. And you see that sexual relations, anytime they need you, they give them. So it's not as if it's good for them to go, but I'm just telling you that you have to maintain your own, and this is one of those things. So your career, consider it well. Are you so stressed after work that you can't communicate with your husband from Monday to Friday, then you have timetable for sex like only on Sundays? Please check that career. Then another thing is being supportive. Look at your husband, examine him. Don't just feel he's not saying anything about your career and he's fine. He may not be fine. You need to be supportive. For example, your work and your husband's work, is it along the same way? Do you think he likes it? Does he take his time to come and pick you up? Even if you don't have a car, does he come to your working place after work and you go home together? Like, he's showing you that even though I'm missing you, but don't worry, we can cope with this together. So that is where his support comes from. It's not just saying it's fine doing that job. No, some men just tell you it's fine because they see that it makes you happy, and sometimes you make money from it. So please, can you start planning about your career, or how to change your career, or how to minimize the time you spend at work? You may not be able to determine some certain things, but there are some things you can determine by planning on time, discussing with your husband. Oh, and I would like to spend more time with you, but this job, what do you think I can do? It will be so reasonable. Then get to hear your husband's response. That you may even get to know that the career you are on now is not as if you totally agree with it. There's one mature couple that was talking to me, was working in she was working in First Bank as her then, and she has aspired to the position of what is it, a high position anyway. She mentioned it to me that when she resigned, that her husband actually gave her everything she wanted after that. Her husband defended her everywhere. that is what she may not get to know when she was working, and get to see it. It's a nice job, of course, be paying her enough money, but at this point that sacrifice, does it really worth it? Yes, it's worth it. When you are happy in your home, you can achieve anything. Don't be lazy. Think of another career for yourself. Make sure that you plan with your husband, get his support. I'm sure that you will grow in any career you start as a married woman, and this will help you to train your child or your children well. Because if you have time to manage your husband, when your kids come, then you have time to manage them, and this will mean a happy home for you. If you like what I've said, then like my video, subscribe, and if you want me to talk about a certain thing that is disturbing you in your marriage, you can comment under it. Anything you say, I will want to touch it, because my major aim is to make your family happy. It's a struggle. We are all in it together, and it can't stop. It's a regular maintenance, and that is why I will want you to always say whatever is in your mind in this comment section below, so that I can talk about it and you may gain one or two things there. So at this point, I still remain Mommy V, and bye for now.